Hello Taurus, this is your extended reading. There are some interesting cards here and showing me images that I haven't seen previously from the cards that are here. And for you Taurus, this extended is showing me how you are actually really taking your time to go through this, well, final transformation, or this most recent phase of your transformation, which is apparently like this grander, not conclusion, I want to say, because it feels like it's been going in small doses. And I feel like this could be potentially something that you're doing on purpose, Taurus, like slowing down. It's not slowing down the progress, but taking each step, each phase very carefully, very mindfully, really. It's like you are, you are not in a rush to cross this door. And I don't know, I cannot see here if this is because of fear of what's on the other side of this death card. But what I want to say is that what you are experiencing now before crossing this door and what's on the other side, they are very, it's like what I want to say is the atmosphere seems very still on both sides. So it's almost like the boundary that I was seeing with on the first part with the Queen of Cups, that was showing me the image reflected on a mirror, so is yourself. And in a sense, the barrier or the veil that separates the two images, it's just the thin line of the mirror itself. But the atmosphere on one side, it's exactly the same on the other side. So this is what I'm talking about, what you're experiencing before this transformation, because it's something that's already ongoing. It's like you have been slowly zipping this, merging these two halves, right? And so you're already sensing, it's like the closer you get to this point, the more you'll feel the energy that's on the other side, although the specifics, the details are yet to be revealed. The magic is yet to be revealed. You're eager to see the magic, but the magic is yet to be revealed. So part of it is realizing that the same atmosphere on one side and the other is the same, just as in the mirror, right? Because of these two cards from the first part, right? The Magician leading to the Queen of Cups. And so this is one part of it. The cards here on the extended are showing me that there is this standstill. It's almost like everything, it's so silent, so peaceful, but also in this it's almost like this what is the word for it, suspension mode, right? Because we start with the Hanged Man. And so this card was showing me a few things. So this card was talking about this suspension mode. It's almost like it's like the air is lighter. It's like there is no weight in the air. There is no weight in the room. It's like when you are staring at your own face, into your own eyes, and actually, having all these realizations, all this recognition that the magic that you hold within is also part of this merging of your two halves, right? Your higher self and your lower self, in a sense. But Taurus, I want to say, yes, it slows down time, right? This is one thing. But also what I was seeing here, this shape here, forget about this. This shape here was showing me this water drop in suspension. So it's almost like there is this lifting force that is, which is actually very interesting, because I was going to say it's like opposing forces to gravity, right? And it was something that also came through in recent readings that I cannot remember exactly which one. I think it was a couple of readings back. And so this drop of the ocean being suspended, and being suspended, I want to say, because of this card that's underneath, the Two of Swords, which is coming through as, you know, the swords suit usually, well, sometimes it triggers in me this very ethereal, very airy, floaty energy, which feels very spiritual, very angelic. And so it's almost like, I don't know, well, I don't know if the word in English is the one that I'm thinking about, but when we are on Earth, right, when we are here, you know, under the pressure of the air, but also being pulled by gravity towards the earth, towards the center of the earth, we have the sensation of our own weight, our own body weight. And then when we enter, you know, a body of water, it's like our own body just, it's like lifting the weight of our own body by being inside the water. And I cannot remember the name of that physics effect in English, but if you know that, just write down the comment. I love to learn new words. And so this is what I'm seeing. It's like there is this drop in the ocean that is being suspended by these angelic forces, by these spiritual energies, entities, which feel very, it's like they are very light. It's like I'm seeing these two swords as almost like two hands lifting you and taking all this weight over you, right? Over your body, over this drop in the ocean. And so this suspension mode is it's almost like protected and divinely guided by these two hands of spirit, in a sense. But because, let me show you this. So the first line of 3 cards is like this. The Two of Swords in between 2 nines. The Nine of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles. And this is the reason why I'm talking about this distinction of being inside the water and feeling like you are being lifted by spirit, and when you are on earth, right? It's like there is this need, it's like gravity, it's working, right? So it's like feeling heavier in a sense because of gravity. But the thing about this suspension mode, which feels like this drop is being suspended or elevated or being held where it is instead of being pulled by gravity, is because of this very subtle force. These two hands that are showing up as, it's like there is no need for much strength, because in a sense you are doing your part, Taurus, I want to say. The external help, the external, not physical external help, but subtle and you know, very spiritual help that you're receiving is just a touch of help, right? Just two hands helping to lift you from these, well, these 2 nines are coming through with very different meanings from, you know, my usual readings. And so as I was describing the difference between feeling like your body is heavier on earth than in water, is being shifted here because of all of this shift in perception that you're going through with this vision, right, of yourself, this recognition that this magic is within you, right, when you see yourself in the mirror. And so these 2 cards are showing me, well, the Nine of Cups specifically, it's like showing me this water realm from which this drop is being held, is being suspended. So this drop has not yet fallen into this water, because inside this water is, well, the energy of heaviness is in this water. So what is showing me, this Nine of Cups is telling me that your emotional body still holds something that is still heavy. So for this new drop of water to fall into here, it would be very detrimental to you. So there are things that are still needed to be, perhaps because of this, right? Perhaps because of these two cards, right? The Devil leading towards the Six of Cups from the first part. For the two halves of yourself, the Strength and the Devil, you know, in a perfect, well, not perfect, but into this whole heart of yours, and recognizing that that is what it's happening. This is, it's like this is the shift that is going to happen, that you're going to feel when you realize that this merging is happening, that this transformation is here, is at foot. It's like you are about to cross over and shift this logic of your emotional water, which should be a place where you would feel lighter, but still makes you feel heavier when you fall into it, right? And this Nine of Pentacles being the earth realm, where technically gravity really pulls you down, so makes you feel very way down, right? Because you're being suspended by the help of these two hands, these angelic hands. It's like this drop that is the drop of transformation, which is also coming through as a very it's like the hole in a needle, right? Is a very tight squeeze for you to really understand that this is what is needed to really set this drop into the ocean, right? Because still you are being lifted, or you're still being held by these two hands, or by these two invisible hands. And so this is what is keeping you afloat, in a sense, in this earth realm, you know, walking with your own 2 feet on this earth realm without feeling too drained or too heavy, because it's almost like the escape between these two bodies, right? The physical body, the emotional body. The emotional body should feel very light, but is right now, because of the direction of all these hearts pointing down, it's like showing me that it's still heavy, right? And so there's this need to lift you. And this, well, the shape of these pentacles here with the Nine of Pentacles is showing me that still your perception of gravity is reversed, in a sense, because there is this stillness because of the help of this angelic realm, right? Because you are in this suspension mode, which is good, I want to say, Taurus. It's like, so far, you know, your perception of each realm is still reversed, but soon enough, when you decide to cross this door, to pass through this needle, through the hole of this needle, and to, you know, cut this string. And I don't want to say cut this string by meaning that you will lose the help of these ones. It's nothing like that. It's not to cut the connection with the divine. It's not at all like that. It's just that this suspension mode, that everything feels very slowly, like a slow progress. This will shift once you identify that the water realm should feel light, and the earth realm is naturally more dense than it actually feels right now, okay? Because right now it feels like you are in this standstill. It's like I'm seeing a lot of stillness from this realm, from the earth realm, right? On this earth dimension, this 3D plane, there is no movement. There is intentional and, you know, guided stagnancy, right? If it makes any sense. Okay, so, but with the 3 cards that are following next, this is good news, Taurus. So we have the Ace of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, and the King of Swords. So this is where you cut this string. This is where this drop of water is let go, right? And as I'm saying this, again, it's not that you lose the help or the guidance or the protection of these hands, of these divine hands. It's just that the suspension mode is lifted. You don't need to be in that suspension mode anymore. It's like, it's time for some movement. It's time for this stillness to be over, because it's almost like I'm seeing these two walls here protecting and holding this pentacle in the middle. But because of the Ace of Pentacles coming next, it's really good news. It's almost like this, the restriction, the physical restriction that was perhaps making you have this odd perception of reality, right? Of the physical reality of this earthly realm, is lifted. Because this is, well, this is actually very interesting. This, when you decide to go through the transformation that we saw from the first part, and you, it's like you pass through this eye of the needle, right? It's like it's automatically cutting this string and putting you, it's like letting you loose in a sense, and letting you loose, because what I'm seeing here with, you know, this empty hole and this hole that is filled with the axe, it's like the axe that you are, you know, what I mean by that is where you are, what you are, who you are, your body, your physical being is crossing through this hole, through the eye of the needle. It's like being integrated to this drop of water. And by, it's like, oh, that's so cool. Okay, when you choose, it's like when you choose to walk your path, to when you choose your destiny, when you stop running from your destiny in a sense. And I don't want to say stop running from your destiny, because I don't feel like you're running from anything, Taurus. I feel like you are actually very still. It's like you're not moving. You're the opposite of moving, actually. You're still, and everything is upside down. Like the water feels heavy and the earth feels light, which should be the opposite, you know, thinking on this logical kind of way, right? To if we think of physics, and so, but also that is something that is this reflection of the mirror. But when you let loose of this standstill mode, which I want to say is right, or has been what you needed to do, it is very appropriate, because you had like protection, you had the help to do so, right? But when you let it loose, when you, and as I'm saying this, it's not losing protection. I want to emphasize that, because it's like crossing towards your destiny, going towards it, right? Actually meeting this destiny. And meeting this destiny means becoming this drop in the ocean. And because you are within this drop, this is the image that I saw here. Because you are this drop, it is no longer void or is no longer empty. It has, you know, enough weight, your own weight, because now this string is no longer holding it, right? You are this drop that is able to fall into this water again. And so you let yourself loose to cross towards your own destiny. And so because of this King of Swords at the end, and because we started with you very strongly, you know, seeing yourself, recognizing yourself as the Queen of Cups in the first part, it's like you were merging the two halves, in a sense, of your own being, integrating it into your own heart. And by doing so, you were starting to see how magic flows through you, seeing that the magic is you. And here with this card that is showing the truth, is like you're wearing the crown of truth in a sense. And so once you do cross towards, it's like you step into your own destiny. You are, it's like now you're free to go. You are not in this suspension mode anymore. It's like you're able to fulfill your destiny, to go towards this. As I'm saying this, it's like I cannot see the other side. I cannot see what's on the other side. The only impression and sensation that I have is that it's very peaceful and quiet. And, you know, even when you let yourself loose, when you stop feeling restricted or held back, right? Even with the realization that you're being held back for, you know, for your own protection because of divine, you know, holding hands beneath you, I feel like it's like you're floating. It's like you are slowly floating. It's not like a harsh drop into the water, right? It's very smooth and gentle, and it's like this perfect crossing. I don't know, I don't even know if this is the right way to say it, crossing towards your destiny, but it's how it's coming through. Because I feel like there is like going across it, right? It's not just stepping into it, although this was here stepping into this drop of the ocean, but still crossing the eye of the needle. It's like you have to go through it. You have to go through your own destiny. Your own path is to go through. Because, well, it's like, it's not that this crown of truth of the King of Swords, it's on the other side. It's going through, that is this crowning of the truth. It's going through your own destiny that is going to feel like you own the truth. You see? Whew, I hope I made myself clear. It's like sometimes these messages are so you know, encoded or encapsulated that I really have, you know, I need to take some time to really pull them. So I hope this was insightful. Let's see what the astrological runes have to add as a final guidance for you. Okay, so Lilith came through. This rune, although, you know, astrologically speaking, Lilith has to do with, you know, the dark moon, the black moon, the dark side of the moon is what I was hearing. And what I was getting from it, the message that I was actually, and I am still a bit reluctant to share with you, because, you know, sometimes this could be very controversial, but I feel like it is explaining, especially, you know, this decision to let yourself loose from everything that restricts you, that perhaps is your own self-prejudice or a self, it's like acknowledge that you do have a darker side. And I don't mean dark as in bad. It's just that is a side that contrasts with your higher self, right? So what I was getting with Lilith as, you know, final guidance for you, Taurus, is acknowledge your darker self. Acknowledge the shadows that are still in you. That's the reason why things should be, you know, feeling like they're upside down, especially with your emotional body, but also with your physical body. Is like, this should feel light and it's not feeling. This should feel heavy and it's not feeling. Why? Because there is this recognition of, it's like your whole self is, you know, it's comprised by these two beings. These two are you. And holding this crown of truth, you know, heading towards your destiny, accepting your destiny and walking towards it, fulfilling it, it includes you to free yourself from your own dogmas, from your own misconceptions, from your own misunderstandings of yourself. That's the reason why it's coming through so strongly as look in the mirror. You will see your true self there, right? And it's like, it's talking about free yourself from these prejudices, in a sense, from these misconceptions. It's how it's coming through, and see yourself for like your whole being, like integrate these two halves, right? And I'm saying two halves because this is what I was seeing, you know, from the image here. But our being is, you know, limitless. It's like, you know, there is no boundary for our entire being, as I said with the strength card. But this is cracking up the magic. This is actually seeing the magic in you. So free yourself from whatever is still shadowing you, right? So Taurus, I know this was a bit of a denser final guidance, but I hope it helps you. If this brings you any insight, I'm really, really grateful. Thank you so much for being here with me. I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.